Hello there, my frugal friends. So I've been in the garden on this cold December day, pulling up the last of whatever veggies we've got growing, which is mostly leeks. Although when you see them, some of them look great. Some of them look like very, very tiny spring onions. Yeah, leek harvest wasn't that great this year, but they can still all be used. We're going to make a nice leek and potato soup. We've got leftover potatoes from what we had in the garden as well. So most of these are, do you know what? I'll just show you. So these are the leftover potatoes from the garden, just the tiny ones that you don't really use for much. So we are going to use these for our soup. Here are my leeks, if you can see here. So we've got some really nice ones. So let's show off the good ones. Look at this lovely leek. Doesn't it look amazing? Really nice. And then you've got that one. Yeah, in fact, I don't even think that's the worst one. I think, well, there you go. Yeah, it'd probably be better in a salad. But these are my leeks. These are my potatoes. This is an onion. Not grown by me. My onions, yeah, my onions were worse than my leeks. My onions were about that big this year, so they didn't do very well at all. I don't seem to get much success with onions, but I'm going to try my best next year and see if I can find some people online who can give me some hints and tips. If you've got hints and tips for growing onions, please let me know. So, anyway. So those are the veggies I'm going to use. And I was thinking I'll do this leek and potato, or potato and leek, depending on which one you've got the most quantity of, soup. I'm going to do it in the Instant Pot, see how that goes on. And I'm thinking I'm going to do a quick bread with it. Now, if you've been watching my food hauls, you'll know that we don't do much bread buying in this house. We haven't bought bread for, I think we're coming up 7, nearly 8 months now. But that doesn't mean to say I can't make some bread. So while the leek and potato soup is sorted, I'm going to see if I can find on the old Pinterest a quick bread recipe, and we'll have a go at doing it together. I've got the Instant Pot on the saute function. So if you were doing this a pan, put your pan on your hob, heat it up, bit of oil, make sure your oil's nice and hot, and we're going to pop in some onion. So all as I've done is I have chopped my onion up. Don't worry about it being perfectly diced or anything like that, because I'm going to blend all this together anyway. So all I'm going to do to start off with is just saute this onion, let that cook down a little bit. Give it a move every now and again just so that it doesn't catch on the bottom of your pan. I have chopped up my potatoes, just cut them in half because they're quite small. I have chopped up my leek, I will show you. So I've chopped up my leek. I'm not worried about it being too perfect because, as I said, I'm going to cut it down anyway, blend it down anyway. But what I did do was I'd washed my leeks beforehand, and I've washed them again because I did notice that there was just still a little bit of grittiness at the top. So just be very careful with your leeks, because otherwise you're going to get that grittiness in your soup as well. So I'm going to take this over here. Not going to put this in quite yet. It's going to go in a minute. I'm just going to leave those leeks for a little bit longer. Like I say, give them a move around. Now, if you've got, whoa, can you even see? Whoa, steamy. If you've got some garlic, you can throw a bit of garlic in there. Just chop it up nice and fine. I'm going to go in probably with a little bit of garlic powder once I've started everything cooking off. So I'm just going to leave these onions for another minute or so. The Instant Pot does produce quite a lot of heat. It's really quite cool. No, it's not. It's hot. It's really quite good that you know, something can produce this really intensive heat. So I'm quite impressed with that. Although it is, like I say, a bit steamy for you guys to watch. So those onions, they're all right. So I'm going to pop my leeks in now. Now these will probably steam even more because, like I said, I have washed them, so there's probably a bit of residual water on there, but that is absolutely fine because we're making soup, so we need water. So that's a bit better. It's calmed down a little bit more. We're not quite as hissy, spitty, steamy. So I will just cook these probably for about 5 minutes, and then we'll go in with our potatoes and our stock. Right, these leeks have cooked down now for about 5 minutes. They've softened up a little bit, which is great, but most of the cooking of them is going to be done with the water and the potatoes. So I'm going to go in with a little bit. This is my garlic powder. I'm just going to put a sprinkle in there. It's probably about half a teaspoon, which is fine. I have got just a standard vegetable stock cube. I'm just going to dump that in. And then I've got my potatoes are going to go in. Like I say, I just halve these. They're going to go in. Now, what I want is enough water to be able to cover these. This is hot water. I boiled the kettle a little while ago when I was making a brew. So, pop that in. Not quite enough, so we will right, we'll go in with a little bit more. This is just tap water. That should be okay. Let's just push everything down. Now with the Instant Pot, I could take this off saute and pop it on slow cooker, or I could do pressure cooker, of which slow cooker I understand how to do because I've got a slow cooker. Pressure cooker I'm not as certain on, so we're going to do it on pressure cooker because why not? So I'm going to pop the lid on. I am going to go down here. We are going to take it off the saute function. We are going to put it on the pressure cook function. We're going to go high. Now I know my rice takes between 3 and 5 minutes, but this is going to take longer. So I'm going to go on here for 17 minutes. I'm literally guessing. So this is just one of those things. We're going to give it a go. We're going to see what happens. 17 minutes. Sorry, Smarty, are you declaring that you don't know what's going to happen as well? No, I think he just wants food. He's constantly wanting food. He's getting a right little pudding belly on him. Want to see? No. Smarty, say hello. What's up? What you want? Watch this. If I open the cupboard. Oh, look. See, that's where the food is. Do you want some biscuits? Yeah? Yes, there's some biscuits. What's this? There's some biscuits. See? Now he's happy. Right, while that's doing, and Smarty's jumping on there, I'm going to go and find that quick bread recipe. So the flour recipe that I'm going for, the bread recipe I'm going for says 250 grams of AP flour, so that's just plain flour, so let's throw that in and see what we get. 250, nearly. Okie dokie. 250. Yeah, well, 249, but then to go in with half a teaspoon of sugar and half a teaspoon of salt. So we can do that. So I've just got caster sugar here because that's what we generally have, because I don't see the point of buying granulated and caster when I mostly use caster. So half a teaspoon of sugar, half a teaspoon of salt, then 2 teaspoons of baking powder. So this is our rising agent. So 1, 2. Okay. Then go in with 175 grams of lukewarm water. So when they say lukewarm to me, I normally think of water that when you stick your hand in it, it feels like it's not there. So that's like blood temperature. So I will get that just in a cup. Okay, so just keep it on your scale and weigh out the 175 grams. Seems very wet. Oh, there we go. And then we're going to go in with a fork to bring it all together. Well, I can see that my baking powder's working because I can see it foaming up already. So let's go in and create this dough. This is coming together really nicely with this fork. This is not going to make a huge loaf, but I don't really need a massive loaf for this dinner. So we're going to do that. That's come together really quite nicely. So I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of flour on my work surface. Here we go. A little bit of flour. Bring out this dough. Scrape it out, don't waste any. There we go. Now I have a feeling this is going to be quite sticky on my fingers, but that's fine. Get those sleeves up. I think a little bit more flour on top just to maybe flour my hands as well, so I don't get too sticky. Oh, this is a lovely feeling dough, nice and light. So just gently bring that together. Okay, still a little bit sticky on the board, on the table, so I'm just gonna, this is making a nut. Oh, this dough feels so soft and lovely. And then it says what you need to do is you need to flatten it out. I'll just put a little bit of flour in there just to stop me from sticking, and then do an envelope fold. So that is basically bring it in and bring it in, and then, yeah, oh no, still a bit too sticky. I think I'm going to go a little bit more because I don't want that to stick on my tray. I think I might actually put a little bit of parchment paper on my tray before I put it in the oven. So there we go. That's a bit better. Envelope fold. Yeah, that's less sticky now. Right, I hope this is big enough. This I've just found in the cupboard, so that's going to go on there. My little bread is going to go on there. So we have, we've slid around. We've got my little bread. I'm going to put a couple of slices into it with my good knife, just to, if your knife's not going in, flour your knife, it'll work a little bit better. See? Put a bit of flour on top of there as well, so there we go. 3 little slices. So what we're going to do with this, it says go in at 200 degrees for the first 15 minutes and then turn it down to 160. Those temperatures are all fan temperatures. If you've got a normal oven, just knock them up about 20 degrees higher, so 220 and 180. And you should be able to be good from there. So let's go and put it in and see how it turns out. This lovely little bread is out of the oven. It's quite nice. Look how nice it looks. Let's have a listen. It's hard to tell. That sounds good. I'm going to leave that there to cool down, and we're going to get on with sorting the rest of the soup out. Okay, we did 17 minutes in our pressure cooker. Cool can't think of the word then. 17 minutes in the pressure cooker, let it do a natural release. And I'm just going to go in with the stick blender and blend it all up. I mean, you could eat it like this, but I like a creamy soup. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to whiz and see what it looks like. Right, we've blended it down really well. This has created a really thick soup. If you want a bit of a thinner soup, you could add some milk in now, thin it down. You could add some extra water if you don't want the extra calories. You could add cream if you want the extra luxuriousness of the soup. I'm going to taste and then we're going to see where we're up to. This is going to be hot. Lovely. Definitely needs a good pinch of the old salt. And I know Chris will like it. It's got to have a good cracker pepper in there as well. Oh, so let's go in with that. Give that a little mix round. Do another taste just to make sure. Here we go. Have this second. Yes, definitely add a bit of salt. Absolutely delicious. Like I say, enriching it with milk or cream if you want to. So that is tea. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get a little bit of that bread and see what it tastes like with that. Okay, I've cut a little end of this bread off. How cute's that? Lovely. Smells amazing. Gonna go in. Now, this is how you're meant to eat soup, isn't it? With lashings of bread and butter and stuff. I'm still eating the bread. Really, really nice. That quick bread, definitely make again. Nearly bit my lip then. Don't want to do that. Super. Absolutely yummy. I'd definitely make that quick bread. Like I said, I'd make a bigger loaf. Double the quantities, I think. Start off with a bit less water to start with. And then just add it in case. Sometimes when you double recipes, it can mess up the quantities. So add the water a little bit at a time. See how you do. Absolutely yummy, wholesome, warming, delicious. For us, pretty much free because our potatoes and our leeks were from our garden. That was great for us. But generally, leek and potato soup is a soup that is not very expensive to make. The green of the soup will go darker the more stalk you use. So if you're not a big fan of the stalk, you'll get a paler soup. But I don't mind the stalks. Use as much as you can of your fruits and vegetables. Throw in what you can. Anyway, that's my soup. That is our leek and potato soup. One of my favourite soups. What's your favourite soup? Let me know in the comments below. Your favourite winter warming soup. I have got a recipe on here for 3 different carrot soups that I've made in the past. So if we've got any leftovers of this, we'll do what we did with the carrot soups and pop it in the freezer. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.